Hello, my friends. Welcome back. My name is Tamitha, if this is the first time we're together. We are working on a series that I'm calling just simply Fermented Beverages. We're going into the busy season on any homestead this time of year in the Western Hemisphere. I know, I still find it so hard to imagine that the summertime, our time, is winter in Australia. That boggles the mind. Anyway, can you imagine Santa wearing like swim trunks? That would be so strange. Anyway, I don't even know where that came from. So we're going to start with something really simple, but it has a lot of variety. You can go a long way with it, and it is super easy. And that is making homemade gingerbread, which is your culture, and then making a soda with it in a secondary ferment, which is just fanciness for saying after we get it going, we put it in the bottle and seal it, and we let it sit at room temperature for a couple of days, and it literally becomes carbonated, and it is real ginger ale. Now, I don't use it just as, you can have it just as ginger ale, and it is outstanding. It is probably the best you'll ever have. But then you can go from there and say, well, I like to add the lemon and lime flavor because I just think it's so delicious. But you could also add fruit. As we go into our busy season and we're outside killing ourselves because we're just about to get to the point where we are getting the beds ready. And that is a huge beast of a job. And so what I want to make sure that we do is not overheat. Well, I'm going to overheat. Let's just be honest. I find myself passing out. Last year, my husband found me on the ground. Sometimes my body's saying it's time to stop, and my brain says, absolutely not, we're not done yet. And those two things don't go as well together as they should. That being said, having beverages that really do feed you and nourish you and make sure that that hydration level is just right helps tremendously. I mean, it is a huge difference. So we're going to start with this one because you can make your culture, which I've already filmed. So I'll add that in at some point. It'll be in here somewhere. And then we're going to make this beverage, but you feed the culture, put it back in the fridge, and you can just keep it going. You can keep it going as long as you feel like taking care of it. And it is very easy to take care of. I have a printable for you, as always. The instructions for the culture, how to feed it, how to keep it going, how to make your secondary ferment, all the things are in the printable. I try to make them as complete as possible so that they're useful. So this is our first drink that we're going to start with. We're going to do water kefir, and we're going to be doing secondary ferments there as well, because we're going into, in addition to needing really good hydration and something delicious, because if it doesn't taste good, I don't know about your family, but my family won't drink it, even if I say, please do, it's good for you. They'll say, yeah, I'm glad it's good for me, and walk away. So it has to be delicious. And so I tell you right now, this is delicious. I make it and it's gone. And it doesn't seem, like right now, I have a double batch going right now, and I already know it will not matter. I will be doing this again in a few days. And anyway, it's tiresome, but it is what it is. They don't even give me a chance to even catch up a little bit and get a rhythm. It's gone because it's that delicious. So, but things like milk kefir. I'm sorry. I know there are so many people who truly love that. Here I can't give that away with a fistful of money. I cannot. It will not happen. If I say to you, listen, I'm going to give you $1,000 if you drink this, they'll say I'll be broke and not have that and walk away. It's just the reality of the situation. So the other thing that I've tried every variety of was kombucha. I tried they don't like it. It's just, so I'm moving on. So we're going to be using our homemade vinegars to make shrubs. We've got lots of things that we're going to do that I promise you are delicious, even family friendly, which is not as easy as some of the other things. We just 3 tablespoons of our chopped ginger, a nice clean container for the rest to go into so I don't have to keep doing this every day, because this does require a little bit of care just for a few days. And once the culture is alive, you can keep it alive indefinitely. I mean, this can just keep going. You just have to feed it occasionally. We get to the point in the year where I just have living little cultures all over the place. It's like I'm running a foster home for fermented little creatures. Okay. Wipe up. And now we need our natural cane sugar. Same amount, 3 tablespoons. 2, 3. 1 cup of water. And it's got to be cool water. Now, we want this to be a live culture. So what does that mean? That means it has to be able to breathe. So we're going to give it a really good stir, try to get that sugar dissolved. Do the paper towel trick. And then we come back to this quite a few times over the next week or so, and you're going to notice that there's going to be bubbles, and when you stir it, you'll actually be able to hear it. It'll sound effervescent. Our ginger bug that we started is a little hungry, so it's time for a bit of breakfast. That's a tablespoon of the chopped ginger. And a tablespoon of sugar. Something so simple. And we feed it this way for 5 days. It smells really good. Yep. We put the little outfit back on. Dressed for the day. Culture that we've been feeding. You've seen it in videos, or perhaps I think I put it on Instagram, but I'm not 100% sure. All the details, the video, everything will be there for you. No worries, you're missing nothing. So, but that's what it looks like. I'm going to change this cover, put on a proper sealing cover, and put it in the fridge. And if you do that, you can switch from, because I was just getting it going, so it needed to stay at room temperature on the counter so I could remember to feed it, because out of sight, out of mind, Anyway, so I have to leave it in front of myself, because just leaving myself a note, that used to work. I don't know what happened. Anyway, so this goes in the fridge. You feed it once a week, kind of like your sourdough starter if you're a sourdough person, which we are. Can't wait till we get to that point in our series. I love sourdough. I mean, I make it all the time, but I want to make it for you. Anyway, focus, Tamitha. Okay, so we'll set that aside. So we've made our culture. We've strained out the amount that we need. It's right here. Okay, so for each batch, it's a 1/4 cup. I have 1/2 cup here because I doubled. Here we've got the syrup. When I edit it in, you'll have seen me just make that. Now, in this bowl, it's very, very important that the syrup that you're making, all that's in here at the moment is ginger, water, and sugar. And in this case, it's not minced, it is grated. That matters in this particular case. I mince very finely when I'm doing the starter, but when it comes to trying to get all the flavor out for the drink itself, what did I say? Grate. I grate. Okay, so this has to be absolutely room temperature. You want it in the 70s. You do not want it even a little bit warm because this is a live culture. That's the beauty. This is a probiotic beverage. So even though there's sugar in here, I added sugar. Yes, I did. But that's to make sure that during this process, the good bacteria have something to eat. And in their eating, they digest, the bubbles come out. We're going to not be immature about that. By we, I mean me, because I still think fart humor is hilarious, but neither here nor there. So that's what gives us our carbonation. And I could say something immature again, but I'm going to restrain myself. But I wanted to do the lemon lime version. I give you the instructions for both. So everything stays pretty much the same, except obviously you're going to leave out what I'm about to do, which is I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and 1 tablespoon of lime juice to my syrup. And everything is measured because we don't want to throw off our proportions. This still kind of functions as a formula. So please mind your measurements. This is not the place. Okay, I'm going to measure. Ooh, that was a nice juicy one. Ooh, I got my money's worth out of that one. Wish I had started with that one. Oh, I feel like I won something every time that happens because I tend to get those dry nubbin lemons that get on my nerves. Okay, so these go down the drain, and I like to process them in my food process in the garbage disposal because it cleans the drain, and I like the way it smells. Okay, so that's why I put citrus in for the garbage disposal. I made a mess. I hate that. Okay, so first I'm going to make sure. Now, I already took the temperature of this. This is very, very cool. This is 74 degrees. So I know we're ready. Now, you have a choice. You can leave the ginger floating around. Now, remember, the ginger has skin on. So you're going to see that floating around in there. For that reason, I don't leave the ginger in. I strain it because when you pour it out and you've got yourself a beautiful glass and it just looks like this stuff floating around and I don't love the look. And we eat with our eyes too. So, but if you don't want to and you want to leave it rustic, leave it in. That's up to you. I don't. Okay? So what we're going to do now that it's nice and cool, because we do not want to kill this. Any warmth will kill it. So we go ahead and we add our starter and we make sure we get it all. And we stir. That is more lemon than we're allowed to have. Here's our lime. So it was 2 tablespoons of lemon, 1 tablespoon of lime. If you don't want lemon, you want just lime, just do the 3 tablespoons of lime. If you want, oh, that was perfect. That I'm telling you right now, that's a tablespoon. Get lucky sometimes. So we don't need you. Whew. Okay, so we give it a nice stir, and we make sure that there is no undissolved sugar, which is why this gets warmed. It gets warmed because we are creating an infusion. Okay? So in here we have, look at the beautiful ginger I was able to get my grubby little mitts on. I mean, beautiful. Okay, see? I don't want that floating around in there. And when you're in these bottles, they're not the easiest things in the world to clean. So if you've got this stuff stuck in there, oh gosh, it's a whole project. It's a whole thing. I don't want to. Let's just go with that. I don't want to. So what I do is I stir it all in here to make sure that I'm not going to have one that has more starter in it or more anything in it than the other. And then, okay, so we're just going to pour okay. See, now I got all that out of there, right? Now, this is where I do it the second time because I missed some. And I've gotten to the point where I always miss some. So I always do a double filter because I miss that. Okay. It's only when the pot is really full that it's hard to get it to run into the strainer. Have a towel down because I'm me and I am clumsy. I've said this to you guys 1,000 times because it's true. We are going to bottle this. Now we're going to leave some room, but don't leave too much. You want this to be able to develop pressure. So that's why we're using this flip top lid. And you know, if you use these, if you buy these, I get them on Amazon, I'll link it. You can replace the seals. So if a little bit of damage, you've had them for a while, replace the seals because it's very, very important that you form a really, really tight seal. You want that pressure to develop. The more pressure, the better carbonation that you get. If you have a huge family and you are going to need bigger batches, because, you know, I'm aware that we have people in our community that have huge families, and I love that so much. I'm an only child, and it sucked. I'm just being truthful. I've been jealous of everybody with a sibling my whole life. So, you know, when you see families and the siblings don't get along, it crushes me because it's like, but I wanted one my whole life, and you're not even nice to yours. I'm sorry, You could make this in here or something like this. You could even make it in a gallon. However, doing so is less predictable in building of that pressure because it's so much more. It's just less predictable. So if you don't mind, make it, you know, kind of have an assembly line going maybe and do it in the flip top bottles, you get a better result. Can it be done in a big jar? Yes. But then you have to kind of consume it all in one go because then you drink half of it, you've left this much air. You're going to end up with the bubbles will all be gone. Does that make sense? You know, like you opened up a bottle of the brand I'm not supposed to say, fancy, everybody knows it, brand soda, red and white label, and you left it open and then the next day it's flat as a pancake. That would be the same thing because this doesn't even have artificial carbonation. This is the real deal. So can it be done? Yes. Is it ideal? No. But I wanted to show you if that's the only option you have, it can be done. You just have to be more open to experimenting and how quickly you would be able to go through it. Okay. So now we all know that these are these Pyrex things, and I don't have the kind that don't spill all over the place. I have them in the small size, but I've had these for a long time, and every time I use them, I hate them. Every time. So I'm going to do it again because I don't learn. Now these are going to ferment at room temperature. The way to stop the ferment is to put it in the fridge. Once that temperature drops and it becomes cold, now it doesn't stop the ferment 100%, it slows it down dramatically. So if you leave this, you know, in your fridge for a really long time, well, eventually the good bacteria will eat all the sugar that's in there and it will not work anyway. It will have gone flat or without bubbles because it just went too long. This is a live culture. It will be bubbly as long as it's got food to eat in there. So when you make this, you kind of have to get a routine going so that you can have it at its prime. So this is not something that you make and then go on vacation. When you come back, it will either have exploded in your kitchen or you will have missed the prime. This is the one. Please be nice to me. Please be nice to me. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Now they also make these bottles in a smaller size. I use them this big because we are, you know, there's never a point where we're just one person's going to have it. We always pour it over ice, and we always pour for someone else in the house. It never happens where it's just one person drinking it. But if that's what you have and you want a smaller size, they do make them in a smaller size. Now this is a double batch. And look, I did not, okay, see now I haven't done this since last spring. Ahaha, it's overflowing because the culture is alive. Hello, get out. There you go. And look what I got. So if you were using the single serving, you would have gotten 6. I got 3 of the doubles. So I now know that I have to actually triple or even quadruple. But we're going to start here. I'm going to make another batch. I have another batch ready to go. So we're just going to set this aside, and it's going to sit aside for 2 to 3 days. When you give it a little burp, meaning you'll hear it go psh, and be careful, do it over the sink, because if your ferment is wildly active, the first time I did this, I didn't expect it to have as much oomph as it had, and it sprayed me, the countertops, it sprayed everywhere. And this is, it's got sugar in it, and this was in South Florida, so it was a really long time ago. And ants in South Florida, they hear you say the word sugar, and they all show up and they bring their friends. And it was a disaster. I made such a mess, I had to have the Terminex people come over and help me because I missed little spots that I thought I got it, but I didn't. That was a very unpleasant experience. So from that point, please open it over the sink. Maybe even put a little towel over it when you open it, because these are lively. Once you get used to the fact that, it's a little bit of a process, you will never want to be without it again. I always start them in the spring, and I keep them going all the way through the fall. For whatever reason, by the time we get to October, none of us are feeling like it anymore. I mean, we've had our fill. We've been doing this all summer long, and we're just kind of done, and we're ready for hot chocolate and other things. So, but this is something that, my husband came home and he saw what I was doing, and he goes, finally, it must be spring, because he's been waiting, because usually I get this started in March. I was busy with other things. I'm a little late. It's April. So I will show you what this is like when I open them. But in the meantime, everything you need to get this ready and get this started and fermenting on your counter will be linked in the description box below. Yes. And as we go through and we make all the different fermented beverages, and we just make all the different things that bring out flavors that are such a delight to have. I really hope the goal is that the children will not look for those beverages from the fast food stores that are full of sugar and there's not a natural ingredient in them, because this does the job beautifully. It's good for the stomach. It tastes delicious. It cools you down. Have it over ice. I hope you love it. I'll see you next time. On Wednesday, we are doing bread baking 202. We are doing more of our freshly milled flours. We're doing a flatbread. And we're going to do 2 versions, as we always do. I always do 2 varieties. And so that's what we'll be doing on Wednesday. I hope to see you then. Happy Easter if you are among those who celebrate. And if not, I hope you have a wonderful Sunday. Thank you so very much. I'll see you next time. I love you. I made a mess. I might drink that. Well, I wonder what it... Oh, that's so good. It's not even done yet, and it's delicious. Good grief.